What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's good to see you today on the Speak and See Show. Like, subscribe, click that notification button so when I get information out, you can get information in. Valuable information. Oh my gosh, it is pouring out. Not really pouring, but man, it is getting ready to really storm outside. I thought the electric was going to go off twice. Look at it. I mean, I'll give you a video of... Dude, lightning is really just going up. Yeah. Hear that? Whoa. And it's hit close. I thought the electric was going to go off here, but it didn't. I'm just surprised. I just hope I don't get pounded here. I better get in. All right, so let's just hope we... I didn't know I had it. It's still recording, still on. Let's just hope we can get through this without the electric going off. That would be great. Guys, I hope everybody is having a great day. I'm so excited about this news. Loans that are going to be going out to all those small businesses, everybody that applied, that is eligible, that is still in the queue, that was told that the funds are gone. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. You know, a lot of people wear the Biden hat. Some people wear the Trump hat. I wear the Jesus hat, man. That's where it's at. Keep your prayers going out to all you small businesses. And I want to thank you all for watching. And this video is going to be going over informational video about the $10,000 EIDL grant. First of all, we're going to go over the loans that you're going to be getting out there. Those of you that have put in for the EIDL loan that never got the remaining funds, we're going to go over the letter that Manchin wrote in detail. And then we're going to go over what that might have to do with the loans leaning towards an EIDL grant program for the rest of the 9,000 or however many employees you had. You get the remainder of the $10,000 EIDL grant. We're going to go over that. There's a lot of really good information here. So if you want to know what's going on and put the pieces together with me here, and if you have not gotten the $10,000 EIDL grant, you're really going to want to watch this as far as what to do in order to make this reality hopefully before the end of the year. Would be great. So guys, once again, thanks for watching, like and subscribing. Somebody say, hey, we definitely still want that 10K.
Yeah.
Somebody say, hey, we want a 10K.
Yeah.
Hey, we want a 10K. Once again, guys, I've got to give a quick shout out to my boy Jason McElhone, who has been in this fight. He's been in the trenches. General Jason McElhone, General of Small Businesses, I salute you, brother. And he put out an amazing video yesterday explaining about the battle that we have been going through together. We have locked arms together in this. We have gone forward in this and not stopped. And boy, I'll tell you what, like my mama always said, the power's in the consistency. The power's in the consistent, and we've been consistent with it. And we have left the 99 to get the 1 for the loans. We're also grabbing the majority of most of you out there that didn't get the $10,000 EIDL grant. We haven't forgot about you. We just had to bring that one sheep back in who did not get that 99. So that part of the battle is almost over with the Manchin Letter, and I'm going to go over that with you. I want to say you all have been a wonderful, wonderful subscribing family. All you subscribers out there, a family that has just become tight-knit together in love and fairness in wanting to get this thing done, man. Getting this EIDL programs and getting the funds put in so that we can walk forward without saying, hey, we got screwed. Let's try to make this thing right. So I'm going to go over exactly how everything is played out up until this point. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have if certain things are unclear, it's going to be made clear right now. Here we go. The Manchin Letter first begins like this. I'm going to go over bits and pieces of it, not the whole thing. I'm going to make this quick and condensed for everybody to have a educational experience here to go back to, and also to say, hey, we can get our 10K. Okay, the letter up to the right is the Manchin Letter that he just put out with over 50 senators to Isabel Guzman, and I'm going to be reading pieces of that. Washington, D.C. U.S. Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat, West Virginia, led 48 bipartisan senators urging SBA Administrator Isabel Guzman to process remaining COVID EIDL injury disaster loan applications from small businesses in West Virginia and across the country. And there's more senators on board now. We write today to ask the SBA to resume processing COVID EIDL applications that were received prior to the agency's May 6, 2022 request deadline, and to ensure that applicants with outstanding appeals receive due considerations, the senators wrote in part. While we recognize the agency has assisted an unprecedented number of small businesses throughout the pandemic, our offices continue to hear from thousands of prospective borrowers awaiting consideration. We also continue to hear from EIDL applicants with disputed rejections who have received no communications from the administration in months. Given that many applicants have not received final consideration, we find it difficult to understand the SBA's decision to stop processing requests that were submitted by the May 6th submission deadline, the senators continued. The EIDL program has been a vital resource for struggling small businesses throughout the pandemic, but so long as eligible businesses remain unserved, the SBA still has work to do. We expect you to ensure every deserving business that submitted applications or appeals on time receives fair consideration. Senator Manchin was joined by Senators Ben Cardin, John Cornyn, Chris Van Hollen, and all these other senators right here have signed to co-sponsor his letter. There's a reason why I'm showing you all these names. It's important. Here we go. You ready to journey with me? Let's get into this. So we got all these names here that are included with this letter saying they agree with it. And these names are being directed to this young lady right here, Isabel Guzman. The letter is going to Isabel Guzman, right? She can no longer hide. We respect that the SBA will not approve every applicant, but we expect that when someone is deemed ineligible, the SBA will provide a specific, unambiguous explanation for its decision. Anything short of that does a disservice to thousands of business owners who have been led to believe they have done everything right, only to be told their application cannot be processed because the program has closed. Now, she says she closed the program in order to pull the funds back to start a new program to disperse the EIDL loans, to go ahead and start getting a group ready of a staff in order to get the loans from the borrowers. They need a staff to do that. Everybody understands that, but she wasn't supposed to do that because she was supposed to use the money first to get the loans out, because it's easier for the Congress or the Senate to ask for money to keep a program open and running and to move a program forward to get loans than it is to say, okay, the businesses need more money. So that's where she screwed up. Once again, let's get back to those signatures. The ones on the left here, Joe Manchin was joined by Senators Ben Cardin, are the signatures of those that are requesting that the loans all be distributed out. Now I'm showing you some signatures that are to your right. These signatures over here: Charles Schumer, Ben Cardin, Christopher Coons, Bernie Sanders, Nancy Pelosi, Charles Schumer, Velasquez Cardin, and Sherrod Brown and Maxine Waters. Now, the reason why I'm showing you those, because when we look back, April 25th, 2020, the CARES Act, EIDL grants were shut down. They wrote a letter. The Congress of the United States wrote a letter, which was what I showed you on the bottom here, with Nancy Pelosi's signature and Schumer and all these guys down here. That was the Congress letter, which we'll go over right now. And the letter was directed to the administrator at that time, Javita Carranza. We know she's not there anymore. She was just nixed. She's out. The letter now being written is to Isabel Guzman, who is now the administrator. However, the intent of the Congress still applies. So she's now responsible with this letter that was written to Guzman. If you can see right here, it says the Trump administration used its discretionary authority to severely limit these awards, permitting businesses to claim just $1,000 per employee. This means that a currently sole proprietor or a small family-runs business with only 2 or 3 employees cannot receive the full $10,000 allowed under statute. When the SBA chose to place arbitrary limitations on award amounts, the ration available funding rather than the request a new appropriation it was willing to do for PPP, it failed small businesses and private and nonprofits and counted on these funds. With the new $10 billion in funding for EIDL grants, the Interim COVID-19 Act provides the administration should remove the limitations it imposed that prevents businesses from receiving the full $10,000 grants. Businesses that have previously received reduced grants because they have fewer than 10 employees should receive the full amount, and going forward, new recipients should receive full awards as well, regardless of their size. So we're going to move forward with that letter. It was signed by these senators over here, Charles Schumer, Ben Cardin, and Sherrod Brown. Over here to our left, doesn't matter. Those are Congress. So they're not going to be signing the same letter that Manchin delivers. It'll be signed by senators only. But Congress was likely to jump on board. So another letter that mirrored it was also written and signed again by Schumer, Coons, Cardin, and Sanders for the $10,000 EIDL grants for all small businesses, all of the $10,000. So now we're going to go into a letter or into a press release that Schumer had put out right before the election. If you notice that time up here, 8/21/20, it was right towards the election, about the time we are looking at right now. And Schumer up here, 8/21. Now we're going to go down below where you see this little red dot. Loan and guaranteeing 10K grants for each applicant. That was part of the letter. We'll move forward to the next piece. In the letter, I'm going to put these pieces that are in the letter, that part that I just had on the bottom there, I'm going to read that. Schumer pushes vital two-pronged legislation to provide economic relief to capital region small businesses by 1, extending PPP program to 2021 and offering new second round forgivable PPP assistance, which they did. And 2, adding $180 billion to the national pot for EIDL grants and loans, lifting the cap from $150K to $2 million for loans, which they did, and guaranteeing 10K grants for each loan applicant, which they did not. They put a policy map in there that nobody knows where that came from. It wasn't supposed to be there. It wasn't going to be there with Trump in office. So we go down further in the letter, okay, where it says, furthermore, Schumer, through his support behind bipartisan emergency EIDL loans for Small Business Act, upcoming COVID-19 legislation. Let me read that in a more clear sense to show you. Furthermore, I'm going to be reading the part that you're seeing up here. Furthermore, Schumer, through his support in behind the bipartisan emergency economic injury disaster loans for Small Businesses Act upcoming COVID-4 legislation. The EIDL for Small Business Act would provide a total of $180 billion in additional appropriations for the EIDL program. This is Schumer. $100 billion for the loan program and $80 billion for the advance program. Lift the SBA imposed caps for 150,000 loans to allow for the award to be up to $2 million and eliminate the SBA policy providing $1,000 per employee for EIDL advance grants to ensure all loan applicants receive the full $10,000 grant created by the CARES Act. There you go, Schumer. This is before the election. He was trying to get people in and get elected on this, and a lot of people voted, were swayed by this, and they didn't get it. So there's a reason small businesses are upset right now. Let me go forward. He goes on to say this proposal would also retroactively provide businesses that already received loans and grants from the program with the full amount they would have qualified for had the SBA restrictions not been in place. These additional funds will be awarded without the need for additional documentation. So those who had already put in their documentation and gotten $1,000 grant or $2,000, whatever your employees were, they wouldn't need to provide anymore. They would be getting like a direct deposit in their bank for this grant. That's what Schumer was saying was supposed to happen. So let's get back to the letter and what it means for these signatures and what's going on with the EIDL grants and how that could play out. So these over here are the signatures of the players to the letters that went out to the Senate and to, at that time, Jovita Carranza. But now these are the signatures over here that are going to Isabel Guzman. Okay, so let's make a picture here of what's going on, okay? Here's what's happening. Senator Ben Cardin, who was the main go-to guy in all of this, his letter is also up here with Manchin. So we see his name is up here with Manchin, was also one of the co-sponsors or one of the main sponsors of those letters to Congress that Schumer had written and he had written as well. And as long down here, he was with the Nancy Pelosi letter to Congress. And up there, he was up with a letter to with Bernie Sanders. Okay, so then we have Chuck Schumer, whose name is also over here, right there. So Chuck Schumer is the major player, I believe, in all of this. And we go up here, we see Schumer's signature on this letter. And along with down here, he was one of the major players trying to get the EIDL $10,000 grant for everybody. So next we go to, who's this person here? Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was also on the letter for the $10,000 EIDL grants for everybody. And they wanted to get that taken care of. He's also signed this letter with Manchin. So now, as we go into that, we see Schumer, we see Cardin. Here's Sherrod Brown down here. We got to find Sherrod Brown. But Ben Cardin here, Schumer here. We have all of them checked out, but Sherrod Brown. Where's he at? He was on the letter as well for the $10,000 EIDL grant for everybody, pushing hard. He's right there. He signed this as well. So we've got players, exact same players in this game that are on the program with the EIDL grant. So where do we go from here? Well, if we got Sherrod Brown checked off, who do we not have checked off? We're not going to check these off. This is Congress. That's Nancy Pelosi. They're not going to be on this list. So those three signatures aren't. We're not worried about that right now. We're going to look at John Cornyn. Okay, his name is on the bill, who is a bipartisan, and Jackie Rosen. John Cornyn is one of the bipartisan gurus that once in a while steps up for small businesses and gun rights and stuff like that. But they did this 513 EIDL Increased Disaster Loan Bill Act together, which would have gotten everybody their $10,000 EIDL grants. So we're seeing their names as well on this letter that Manchin has written. So we've got the major players here. We're missing Chris Coons. He is the senator from Delaware. One Democratic senator to another, but there's another Democratic senator as well. So if we don't have Coons, well, we've got the other Democratic senator right here, Tom Carper. So he can take the place of Chris Coons, and I'm sure Chris Coons will sign it once he, gets the letter written. But here we are. We have the pieces are now in place for the EIDL grants. We have all the major players right there that we're staring at. So that's amazing news right there, ladies and gentlemen. We're seeing the pieces to the puzzles of this EIDL 10K grant kind of literally being stitched together. And there's more players out there as well who were on board with the EIDL grant as well before when Carranza was still out there. And one of those players was down here. You can see her name is Jeanne Shaheen, United States Senator as well. So if I was to click out of this page once again, we were to go to look back on the letter of signatures, we can look over here and find right here, I don't know if you can see my scroller, but there she is, the Democrat from Pennsylvania, Jeanne Shaheen. She's on there too. We've got the players. With that, we see all these senators once again. Who's your state senator? Call up your state senator and say, why are you not on board with this program with the EIDL grant? We're seeing the loans put out. Now can we move forward with the grants? Please. We need those. We're still in dire need of these funds. And we were promised these funds in the CARES Act, which was the intent of Congress, which were promised to us by our newly elected officials, as well as those in the past. I mean, it was signed by 100% of Congress and 100% of Senate, the CARES Act. The CARES Act is the name of the game here, and all the pieces are in place. And in order to keep the promises made to the small businesses, the senators and the congressmen and women have to come forward and give you your $10,000 EIDL grant. And this is a shout out right now to Chucky Schumer, to Ben Cardin, to Manchin, to Shaheen, to Cornyn, to Jackie Rosen, to all of you out there. Sherrod Brown, Bernie Sanders, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, Nidhi Velasquez, Christopher Coons, all of you, everybody in the Senate, Mark Rubio, Tim Kaine, Bayan, Markley, all of you, Carper, Schwartz, Sherrod Brown again, all of you, Blackburn, all of you signed the CARES Act. But Isabel Guzman, you remember the history of Carranza? Isabel, don't let your legacy go down like that. And the only thing stopping your legacy from being a good legacy would be CARES Act, $10,000 EIDL grant, and the policy map that got in the way of millions of small businesses. And the biggest fraud that American people and small businesses can only see in this is the fraud and the lies that were put out by Senate and Congress saying you're going to get $10,000, close your doors, shut down. $10,000 grant to hold you back. Now we're still having to take loans, having to use credit cards. I get comments once in a while, $10,000, nobody can open a business with $10,000. I disagree with you. Anybody that says you cannot start a business or maintain a business with $10,000. I've known people with a great idea who did it with $100. So don't tell me that $10,000 and the remainder of it couldn't be a lifeline to one of these small businesses out there with the greatest idea in the world, with the greatest work ethic in the world, with the grit, spit, and a whole lot of duct tape, and us together sharpening iron. Once again, shout out to my boy Jason McElhone, who's been in this fight the whole way. A shout out to Ryder over at Skip too, because I'm sure he's an ambassador in this as well. We're all locking arms together now. We got to go into this fight together. Make sure you are delivered that $10,000 EIDL grant that was promised to you in the CARES Act. So all you guys, once again, I want to thank you all for watching. We get this done. You all get your remainder of the $10,000 grant. That'll be a great day, and we can all go celebrate. Guys, once again, love you all. Like, subscribe, click that notification bell. It's usually up there somewhere. Love you guys once again. Have a blessed day. And somebody say, hey, we still won our 10K.